Welcome back. Tammy and I are going to continue to talk about her testimony. We left you talking about how Dad and I repossessed your car that night. And I think if I had to say anything at this point, it would be that I will forever be grateful for my husband Dave and for Tammy's husband Jason. He's more awesome. He is an awesome son-in-law. All my son-in-laws are. And for my two grandsons, and for Sandra and Dan, our church, everyone who prayed, not even really knowing how to pray, because for a while I thought this was just something you were going through, or a mental thing, crisis. I didn't realize it was addiction. And when I did, it was late one night. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and my grandson texted me and said, are you up? And I said, I'll get up. And when he called, he was sobbing and saying that there was some serious money missing, financial issues. And he said it for the first time out of his mouth. My mom is a drug addict. And it hit me because I think we were all still in denial and still hoping that it would just end at some point. And I realized that thanks to Sandra and Dan and Dave, I had to quit giving the money because I was absolutely an enabler. And so what's your thoughts on that? How did you realize this is more than you can handle?
I had known that for quite a long time. Once you cross the lines of I can't afford this, but I have to make a way to be able to do this. I can't afford my drugs because I need lots of them now. It's out of my control.
How many? What's a lot of drugs?
Okay, so my specific addiction was opioids, like Vicodin, things like that. When you get to a point where you can take 20 Vicodin in a day and still could take more if you had them, it's incredibly, to think about it is, it's shocking. It's just ridiculous, but that's what it does to you. The minute you start taking them, you need more. And it builds and builds and builds, and before you know it, you're completely out of control, and you need more, or you get sick.
I know that doctors were shocked that you lived, that your body was able to tolerate 20 plus Vicodins a day, Xanax, morphine, all of that. They were literally shocked at that you had built up such a tolerance.
The tolerance, it just builds and builds and builds. And normal people, that if you decided one day to just take 20 Vicodin, you'd be,
Oh, I'd be gone at
But for me, that would have been a normal day, and they wear off within hours.
Right.
So it's a constant, I need more, now I need more, now I need more, now, and it's just every day of your life, that's your life. It's how am I gonna get money for more?
Did you at any time ever consider just coming to us and coming clean, or going to the doctor?
I did. One of the things that held me back, which in retrospect, of course, is ridiculous, is I was so afraid my husband would leave me, that I kind of thought I was doing a good job of hiding it from him. And he even said, he was kind of shocked when I went to the hospital that night, but yet he knew. He said underneath it all, he actually knew. He just had never been able to admit it to himself that there was a problem.
He did, because we had called about different money missing issues and things, and we had talked with each other, but I think no one wanted to say it out of their mouth.
And I thought, well, if I go for help, he's gonna leave because he's gonna know I'm an addict. And it's just one of those lies that the devil tells you. Well, you can't go get help because your husband's gonna leave you,
You know what was interesting about that to me is the night we finally wound up at the hospital, and I did finally call Jason. I remember you didn't quite want me to do that because of the shame, but I called Jason, and my heart was humbled because he was there within 10 minutes. And I met him at the door, and I said, Jason, if you gotta go, now's the time to go, but she's gotta get set free. And he said, Mom, I'm not going anywhere. He said, I love her, and I'm staying. And he has been in it for the long haul, and
that was
I watched him change his life.
I don't know why it shocked me so much, because he is such a wonderful, amazing man.
It truly is.
But there was such shame, and, you know, I didn't expect the reaction I got. I was expecting a little more anger, a little more, and I'm sure he had those feelings, but what he showed me when he showed up was
Mercy.
that he loved me, that he cared, that, I mean, I did not expect that when he walked into the hospital, it was just, from the second he got there, it was just, he just loved me, he just cared about me, he wanted to do anything he could for me. You know, he literally just blew me away. You know, I didn't
I
expect
like
it.
something that you once said. You said it to me recently. You know, people feel like that if they admit their problem, that people are going to leave their lives, they're going to walk out on them. But these same people are staying with them
Mhm.
now. Why would
While
they walk
you're in
out?
the addiction.
Why would they walk out when you're going to get
Yep.
help?
If I go get help and stop
Um,
being an addict, then they're gonna leave me. It doesn't make sense, but it's
No.
another lie.
But
It's
it is a
another
lie. And, you know, I thought the same thing about the doctors when we were in the hospital that night. I was so impressed with LaGrange Hospital and the care we received, the compassion, I should say, that we received. Also, I was impressed with the Glen Oaks facility. I just was amazed that they're literally called to do that. And we never got any kind of put down or any treatment less than what I consider to be top care. And I think that's something that people have a misconception about, that if you go seek medical attention, boy, those doctors are gonna be like, oh, here comes another addict, and it's just not true.
No, it's, those doctors and nurses, that's what they do for a living. They've made a decision to help people, to save lives. That's what they're there for. They're caring, they're compassionate. I mean, it was the best decision I've ever made in my life, was to go to the hospital that night, because the second I did, it was finished, it was done. I was free from that moment on.
I think that if I had one main thing besides telling people the spiritual side of it, go to God, and you did, and God was listening to you. But if I had one thing to tell people, addicts or families of addicts, parents, it's get them help. Go to the hospital. Go immediately to the emergency room, because there is help available. There's actually drugs they can give you, such as methadone and Suboxone, and they actually work. And they're
Yeah, I think that I didn't realize myself. I mean, I had, of course, over the years, I thought many times about, couldn't I go get help? Can I try to get some kind of help? It's, you know, all the lies that held me back and everything, but it's just amazing to me, the resources that are out there, that are just there for the taking. You know, if you just choose to say yes. And what have you got to lose? Give it your best shot. Go for it. You know, it's the best thing I ever could have decided to do.
I would have to agree with that 100%. That I think that's one of the things I see. We passed on the way to come here today. You and I passed a homeless man that's obviously addicted, and of course my heart breaks for him now, knowing that there is help available to people. And also, I think the value of having a good support system around you, people that you can trust. There may be people that will put you down, but there's just as many people out there who will say, I'm here for you, I support you. And I want us to talk about, in just a few minutes when we do the next segment, I want to talk about going to the hospital that day and what actually happened, and how God was there with us and met us at the hospital, literally met us there in such a supernatural way. Would you agree to that?
Yes,
that he
absolutely,
did?
absolutely. I felt it. I mean, it was almost instantaneous before I even got to the hospital. The second I said yes, I'm going to the hospital, I believe that's the immediate moment when I was set free. I believe from that moment on. You know.
Saying yes to
Mhm.
God, and yes to change, and yes to a better future. We're going to continue this in another segment and talk a little more.